As the world entered the 2020s, the United States found itself at a critical crossroads. The global COVID-19 pandemic, which emerged in late 2019 and escalated rapidly in early 2020, disrupted nearly every aspect of American life. The virus infected millions and claimed over 1 million American lives. The economy experienced one of its most abrupt contractions in modern history. Unemployment soared and supply chains buckled. Cities once vibrant fell silent under lockdowns, and hospitals overflowed with patients. The government launched massive relief programs, including stimulus checks and expanded unemployment benefits, in an attempt to stabilize the economy and protect vulnerable populations. In the midst of the pandemic, another wave of unrest surged across the country after the killing of George Floyd, a black man, by a white police officer in Minneapolis in May 2020. The incident, captured on video and widely circulated on social media, triggered nationwide protests under the banner of the Black Lives Matter movement. Millions took to the streets in cities across the United States and beyond, demanding justice, police reform, and racial equality. While the protests were largely peaceful, some instances of violence and looting fueled political controversy and further polarized public discourse. The 2020 presidential election unfolded under this backdrop of uncertainty, fear, and division. It saw a record number of mail-in ballots due to pandemic safety concerns and the highest voter turnout in over a century. Former Vice President Joe Biden, running on a platform of national healing and pandemic response, defeated incumbent President Donald Trump. Trump, however, disputed the results, claiming widespread election fraud without substantive evidence. This culminated in the January 6, 2021, attack on the U.S. Capitol, where a violent mob stormed the seat of American democracy in an attempt to stop the certification of the electoral vote. The event shocked the nation and the world, leading to the second impeachment of Donald Trump and heightened concerns about the fragility of American democratic institutions. Joe Biden took office in January 2021 amid these intense divisions. His administration immediately prioritized pandemic response, rolling out vaccines rapidly across the country. By mid-2021, much of the country had access to COVID-19 vaccines, although vaccine hesitancy and misinformation campaigns often amplified through social media hindered nationwide uptake. The Biden administration also passed a sweeping infrastructure bill, sought to address climate change through executive orders and legislation, and pushed for student debt relief and expanded health care. However, with a narrowly divided Congress, many of his broader legislative ambitions faced gridlock. Meanwhile, the culture wars in the United States deepened. Topics such as gender identity, school curricula, gun rights, and abortion became flashpoints in American society. In June 2022, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, ending nearly 50 years of federal protection for abortion rights. The decision was met with celebration in some conservative circles and deep anguish among pro-choice advocates. It also reignited political activism at the state level, as individual states moved swiftly to either ban or protect abortion rights. Technological advancement continued to reshape American life in unprecedented ways. Social media platforms like TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram became the primary battlegrounds for public opinion, misinformation, and cultural debate. Billionaire Elon Musk acquired Twitter in 2022, stirring debate around free speech, platform moderation, and digital responsibility. Artificial intelligence, especially models like ChatGPT, gained prominence, raising hopes of increased productivity, but also concerns about job automation, data privacy, and intellectual property. In global affairs, the United States found itself reasserting its traditional alliances. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, the U.S. responded with military aid to Ukraine and sanctions against Russia. This marked a return to Cold War-era geopolitical tension, with NATO cohesion becoming a renewed priority. Meanwhile, relations with China continued to evolve with a mix of economic competition and strategic rivalry, especially concerning Taiwan, global supply chains, and technological dominance. Back home, the U.S. faced growing challenges around inflation, housing affordability, and immigration. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates in an attempt to combat inflation, which had surged due to pandemic-related supply disruptions, labor shortages, and geopolitical instability. The housing market became increasingly inaccessible for younger Americans, leading to a national debate on affordability, zoning laws, and corporate ownership of residential properties. At the southern border, immigration surged, driven by instability in Central and South America. Debates raged over asylum policies, border security, and the future of undocumented migrants. By 2023, the American political landscape remained polarized. The Republican Party saw internal divides between traditional conservatives and the populist wing still aligned with Donald Trump, who hinted at and eventually confirmed another run for presidency in 2024. Democrats grappled with generational divides, progressive versus centrist policy battles, and mounting pressure from climate activists, labor unions, and civil rights organizations. Despite the turmoil, the United States also witnessed a cultural renaissance. American film, music, and sports remained globally influential. The 2023 Academy Awards saw increased recognition for diverse voices, and athletes continued using their platforms for social advocacy. Technology startups flourished, especially in green energy, biotech, and fintech. The nation also began reckoning with its historical narrative through renewed interest in indigenous history, reparations discussions, and inclusive education initiatives. As 2024 approached, the United States remained a country both admired and questioned. Its promise of liberty, innovation, and resilience persisted, even as internal divisions and external challenges tested its endurance. While the future remained uncertain, what was clear was the nation's continued relevance in shaping the global narrative.